The patriarchy dropped the ball and we are paying for it. Okay, guys, now listen, hear me out, because this is not going to be a classic, oh my gosh, I hate men, men are trash, because you guys know that men are my favorite of all of God's creations, of all of the creations, including even children, believe it or not. But you know, I've made many videos, and I always say to you guys in my videos, or I've said a lot of times, that I will always try to speak more on groups that I'm a member of, in order to, because I don't know what it's like to be in another group. Hence why the reason I don't talk about issues that go on with other races sometimes is because I'm not those races, or why I don't talk about what goes on, what it's like for to be 50, because I'm not 50, I'm 27, you know what I mean, or whatever. Yeah, so I refrain from talking about, you know, my thoughts, my critiques of the male community, but I feel like some things need to be said because of the state of society. And it all started when I was thinking last night. And so I'm going to try and be as respectful as possible, because I do think the men need to stand up. Can I be so honest? I've been saying to us ladies that we need to stand up, and we absolutely do. We're all dropping the ball, but today this particular video is going to be about the men, the patriarchy, to be specific. So yeah, let's talk about it, because last night I was thinking about this, right? So I was thinking how I didn't want to go out on a walk, but it was late. It was like 3 a.m. I actually nearly recorded this at that time. Oh, I remember how this happened, because I was watching a Trisha Paytas video, and she went to 7-Eleven. She was eating 7-Eleven in her car, and I was just watching old Trisha videos, because she was so relatable to me growing up. Anyway, it's not important. So she's sitting in her car at 7-Eleven eating whatever she's eating, and she just had some really poor experiences with a bunch of guys in the store. Now, the thing that I started to really think about, because now that I'm older and now that my brain has finished developing at 25, so technically my adult age should only technically be 2, if we're being real. But no one's going to say that, are they? I'm supposed to have it all figured out at 27 somehow. But anyway, so she talked about her experience, and it really made me think, because I'd had a few quite irritating experiences myself in the last couple of days, because I was just thinking, as a woman, we can't leave the door. I was thinking, I don't think I can leave the door, because no matter what time or what area of the day that I do, there are pros and cons either way. And so it's just like pick your poison. It's another pick your poison type of scenario, right? Because if I go out, so for example, I like to go out in nature because I like to get fresher air. I like to be amongst the trees. I need peace and quiet. I need time to be with the Lord. I just need time to gather myself, to keep myself sane in this absolutely insane, chaotic world, right? And so, you know, I prefer, if it was up to me, I would go out in the dead of night, in as dark, as cold as possible, at 2 a.m, and I would be out out there, out in the nature, in the forest somewhere, right? And what would I be doing there? Dancing, singing, crying, talking to the Lord, you know, all the things that I do when I'm alone. But obviously, that's considered unwise because you don't know what's going to happen and it's not safe out there. Okay. But then on the other hand, so the other day I went out to record a YouTube video, which hasn't come out yet. Don't know if it will come out, don't know, whatever. I've got so much footage because I've started, anyway, not important. So I go out, and the reason I remembered why I don't like to go out in the middle of the day ever. If I can, I'll go as early as humanly possible if I have to go and do anything, but sometimes I can't avoid it. Sometimes I have to go to the post office. Sometimes I have to, whatever. So, and the reason I don't is because the men, to be honest, the men, right? Because men, a lot of men don't take no for an answer. And it really is so much more severe than I realized. I feel because this year I finally because of all this work we've done with the Lord, and I'm starting to realize how much people are supposed to actually respect your boundaries, and that no is a full sentence and stuff like that. And that no, it doesn't matter if whatever, and I don't have to entertain anything. I don't have to entertain. I don't have to do anything I don't want to do, right? So again, sad that I have to work so hard to do that. And this is what I've been saying to you guys as well, that it's really, for me, one of the biggest difficulties as in terms of being a young woman is that I feel I have to work so hard to maintain my boundaries all the time. That's why I prefer to just be alone rather than be with somebody and be around in any capacity. I'll give you guys some examples of what I'm talking about, right? So one of the reasons I don't like to go out during the middle of the day is because there's from right here where I'm sitting, within a 15-minute walk, in like 3 different directions, there's a supermarket, right? 3 different supermarkets. 2 of them are like the bigger ones. One of them's like a smaller one. A whole bunch of stores, because I live right by where all the like, you know, all the stuff is. So I don't like to go in any of these, because in every single one of them there is a male who will not leave me the hell alone. And, you know, they try and do it in such a like well-meaning kind of way, as in like, oh no, I just wanted to say hi, I just wanted to check it, you're okay. And I'm like, no, don't say hi and don't check I'm okay. I don't want to be spoken to. I've come out to do my thing, and you guys see me. This is why I go out dressed with my hood up and looking disheveled. I try to look disheveled on purpose. If I can go out as soon as I've woken up and I'm still looking crusty, dusty, groggy, perfect. If I can go out and I've got some like, I don't know, some random stuff on my shorts or something, great. I'm trying to be a deterrent. That's what people don't understand. And it's so funny, because these guys always say to me, like, you should smile, you should hold your head up, you should this. I'm like, I don't want to be approached. Or like this other dude, again, my current local creep. Oh my gosh. And this is what I'm saying, you guys. The reason I'm bringing up these stories is because I recognize that a lot of these guys won't listen to me ever, no matter what I say. And it shocks me how they behave when another male comes into the picture, right? So like, for example, there was one of the security guards at one of these supermarkets who tried to talk to me. Hey, I told him I wasn't interested. And in fact, the way he even called to speak to me, it was so annoying, right? One day, for whatever reason, me and my brother happened to be going to the supermarket together. Took one conversation. In fact, he just looked at him and raised his hand. Do you think that man spoke to me again? What I'm trying to aim at here to tell you guys, and this is to the male community, that you guys have a responsibility for yourselves and your own people. And I'm going to use a term, actually, we won't come to that just yet, right? So I'm thinking that whatever happens, if I go out at night, something could happen, but I just won't expect it to happen, right? I'll just be left out there to the streets, and there's going to be, and if something happens, right? So, but if I go out during the day, I'm trying to mind my business. I'm being very nice and polite, because, you know, some guys are like, women are so rude these days. This is why we all say we're lesbian, because saying you're not interested isn't enough. Say you have a boyfriend or you're in a relationship, he's leaving you out here like this by yourself. Or I can be like, all these phrases I've heard. The amount of times that I'm walking outside, right? And I'm very like strategic. If I can see a male coming, right? I feel like I've got like the computer system like Iron Man when I see men around. And as women, we always are hyper aware of where every single man in like your 100-mile radius is, whatever you can see in that space. And I always am, right? So if I can see a guy is coming in the direction towards where I am, I will be very quick to swerve and turn and detour and take a different route, which is sad because I shouldn't have to do that. And the number of times I have to not even walk into the front door at my house because some guy is still trying to talk to me and still trying to talk to me. Where are you going? What's your name? How old are you? I just want to get to know you. I just want to be your friend. Oh my gosh. And it's all ages, all races, ladies and gentlemen. In 2023, right? In the year 2023, I can assure you that the youngest to the oldest male that stopped to speak to me was between 18 to 56, right? From all over the planet. Middle Eastern, black, white, you name it. All of them. So it's not like one kind of little niche. I used to think that it was just an African uncle thing. I used to think it was all the African uncles. They're not even the number ones in the building these days, right? It's all sorts. Like one of my favorite convenience store, which I don't even go into very much anymore. Again, they opened a new convenience store. I was like, this is amazing. This place is so good. They've got lots of great stuff in there. The guy that runs the shop, Middle Eastern dude, very handsome though, tall. He's very handsome, I can't lie. A lot of these men are actually really good looking and like really nice men, but I'm just not interested. And also the moment that you start to just feel like some level of entitlement, or like you can convince me by showing off how much money you have or trying to take me some trip somewhere or whatever, like no is no. Like you've already proven that you don't respect my boundaries already, because you should have just let me say no and just let it move on. Like, and I'm not saying when someone tries and they're like, oh, just to give you a chance. I'm talking about when you over time, unrelentingly, repeatedly keep doing the same thing is what I'm talking about. Not like, So anyways, So I don't go into that shop because every time I go in there, he's again trying to like, oh, you know, you're my future wife. You know, we're going to Jamaica with me and my friends. Like, do you want to come along with? Like, we can go. We're going for 4 weeks. This is last year. He's telling the whole shop that I'm. And again, listen, this is why. And when I say like, you know, no, I'm not interested. No, whatever, doesn't go away. So now I can't go to that shop. So now I don't go to these shops. This is what I'm saying. I don't go there now at all during the hours where I know these people are working. And I made the mistake of going to one of the other shops the day before, right? And this is the day before, like yesterday, right? I made the mistake of going to one of these stores in the middle of the day, and I forgot why I didn't go during the middle of the day. So I walk in there, I see, you know, individual from whatever, from this place. Now, to avoid him, right? Just to avoid him. This is all the work I have to do. This is what I'm saying. This is exhausting. When I just wanted to get some fresh air and buy some freaking groceries, for goodness sake, right? So I'm now, and you'll see why I'm talking to the males community in particular, because I'm going to give you some examples of how differently men act with other men and how the presence of strong men impacts all of us and actually protects all of us. Okay. So anyway, so I go into the store, right? I go into the store, and where the checkouts are, you've got like from where I'm standing, you come in, you got the self-checkouts, the just quick self-checkouts. Then you got the bigger self-checkouts, right? And then you got the rows and rows of like the normal checkouts, right? So obviously me being me who doesn't want to speak to anybody would preferably go to the self-checkout with my earphones in, with my headphones, my hoodie up. Don't talk to me. Sometimes I wear sunglasses just so that people just think like whatever, or fake talk on the phone. The ladies know the amount of time you have to fake talk on the phone, fake, oh my gosh, yeah, you wave at a guy like he's around the corner, like, yeah, babe, oh my gosh, I can see you, yeah. Anyways, and a guy's trying to talk to you like, anyways, sorry, yeah, my boyfriend's trying to pick me up. He's just around the corner. Yeah, you know, the ladies know, or the fake phone calls, or all the everything that we have to do. It's insanity. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, it's not fair. I just feel like it's so unfair that like for me to think about going out and doing the basic things. If I want to go out at nighttime, it's a bad idea because something can happen. I go out and during the day, I better have stored up an extra like 30-40% energy so that and imagine and this is why the women out there who are beautiful, I feel for them. If this is how bad this is for me, like this is what I'm saying. And I'm just like, oh, that's why I'm so grateful I'm not more beautiful. I'm so happy not to be like one of these really beautiful women, because I can't imagine what it's like for them. And I'm black as well. So I'm already like a niche. So anyways, so I'm in the store, right? And this is the efforts to which I've gone, right? To avoid just having a conversation with this guy, because I don't want to. Also, the other thing is, it's quite invasive. If I'm in somewhere like a store, I've got my purse, I've got my bank card, I've got my things, you know what I'm saying? So you coming over and talking, and they love to do that. They're like, oh, like they look at like my ID, like, oh, you're American. Oh, the amount of times that happens, I hate it. You know, oh, you're American, so what are you doing here? Whatever, right? So annoying. So anyway, so I come into the store, I've bought whatever I've got taken my basket, right? And so I've decided, even though I've got 2 items, I'm going to go all the way to the proper checkout at the end so that I can come around, because he was standing in the self-checkout. That's where the area where he is. So he's standing in the self-checkout, and I'm thinking, beautiful. He's there. He's busy with customers. So I'm going to time it. And this is exactly what I have to do. I'm going to time it. I'm going to go to the normal tills, right? And I'm going to go, and I had a lovely chat with the lady there at the tills. We were talking about Christmas, and she's like, she's finally wearing her Christmas, yada, you know, the usual lovely little small talks we do. And get my stuff, put it away. And in that moment, I was feeling relieved, right? So my strategy was this. I was like, okay, he's in the checkout. I'm going to try and wait as long as possible for him to finish doing what he's doing, like to be caught up with the customers, right? And then I'm going to just make a beeline and get out of here, right? So I'm thinking we're nearly there, right? We're nearly there. You just got to get out the front. You just got to get out the door, right? Tell me why this guy just like slides in like he thinks he's some kind of smooth criminal, right? In front of me. I'm looking down. I've got my earphones in and yada, yada, yada. And praise be the name of Jesus. My friend called me immediately. So it was actually a real phone call. And I was like, oh my gosh, go. Because this whole conversation about like, I'm not interested and I don't want to talk or whatever, it doesn't work a lot of the time. Not all the time, a lot of the time, right? But let's look at how that situation works itself out differently in the presence of other males. So like I said, anytime I've been to these places nowadays, if I need if I need to do any of these, I need to find a man to go with me, prefer, I'll just ask my brother. I mean, he's tall, he's like 6 foot, whatever. And these guys, and this is what I'm saying, they know. Because these men who are like this, if the other men don't call them out, and if the other men are not present, that's when they surface, right? So if I go with my brother, it just takes one wave for them to change how they talk to me, or one this or one that, all of a sudden. And now everything is changed. All the words that I've said, everything I'm doing, you didn't care about none of that. You did not care. No, but now, give you another example. So when I was living in London, right, this is the most insane one, because this one drove me crazy, right? So I've moved in, and on the first day I've moved into my new apartment in London, just so happened, thank God, it was above a TV studio, and there was like a car place, like a car garage place, like right next to it. So, you know, it was always very busy area. So, you know, I didn't feel so annoyed about this, but there was this one creepy dude and who stops me again with some weird line asking me about whatever, about what I was wearing. And again, I was just wearing a hoodie. I was moving in at the moment. So this is day one of me at my new flat. And this guy starts trying to talk to me, and he said something really offhandedly, because he was trying to say something like judgmental. And this is all what I would call, I don't know what the right word is for these kind of men, but this is why, you know what, from listening from having brothers and from talking to my brothers about certain topics, I now understand why some men are described as bitches. I get it now. Like a female dog, like that thing, I see it now. I never understood, but I get it. I so completely get it, because those kinds of men are the scary ones as well, by the way, because they're the ones who hit women, and they're the ones who don't take no for an answer, and they're the ones oftentimes who are predators. Those kind of men. Real men don't even dream of doing half the thing, like majority of the things that these other men do. That's what I'm saying. The real men need to stand up, because your presence alone, right? So anyways, so this dude, he's bothering me, right? And he's talking to me, and I'm like, no, I'm not interested, whatever. I lived in that flat for like 2 years, okay, or maybe longer. And he would consistently try to speak to me, but I was in a relationship at the time. So ironically, every time I would come down the road or go into my building or whatever, and the person I was with wasn't there, he's there. He's stopping his car, and the amount of times that's happened, guys swerving their car, like, I'm like, sir, the amount of times these guys have stopped in the middle of moving traffic. I'm like, you think I'm about to talk to you and be holding up people's day while you just stopped your car in the middle of moving traffic on a main road to talk to me? Like, this is insane. Like, but anyways, like, this guy did this again a couple of days ago. The other night, I was like his window stuff coming down, and he's like, hey, I'm thinking, oh, for goodness sake, right? So this guy, right, he doesn't take no for an answer. He swerves his car every time he sees me, comes out, tries to talk to me. Comes and hounds me in the shop. He tries and do this and does that. This has been like for a long time. And now at the time, the person I was telling about it, and he was like, you need to tell me when he's there. He's never going to show up while I'm there. Like, why is he never there when I'm there? I'm ready, like whatever. So one day I go out shopping. And again, I'm in my good mood. I'm going to the market. This is what I used to love to do. This is one of my favorite things. I love shopping, by the way, grocery shopping. I mean, clothes shopping, can't really be bothered, to be honest. But grocery shopping, love. So when I'm in groceries, I go to the markets, and then I go to the produce, and then I go to the butchers, and then I go to the fishmongers. I love it, right? So I've gone out, I'm enjoying myself. It's a nice day and whatever, to the market near where I lived. And I was buying myself all the different bits and bobs, and I was looking forward to it because I'm now in my creative bag. I'm ready to think about what I'm going to be cooking and how I'm going to be, This guy, see this guy again. Now, I immediately called the guy I was with at the time, and I was like, he's here. This guy shows up. So this guy's talking to me, and I'm like, I'm not interested. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to keep you right here, though, because I have a solution. This guy, all that took place, this is all that happened. The guy that I was with at the time, do you know what he did? He flicked this man's cap off of his head. And all of a sudden, now this man never spoke to me again. Never, ever, ever again. And when I moved out, the guys, like the landlords, because the landlord, one of his brothers and like some of his like other guys, they also stayed in the building. So when I moved out, I was moving out. One of the other guys who I used to see all the time, we used to talk whatever because I knew him, because he sometimes, would talk about stuff to do with the building, because he was kind of like one of the landlords-ish kind of thing. He says to me, Is that guy troubling you? Because we know he's been troublesome. We fired him from the garage a few years ago. Has he been troubling you? Because we've seen him talking to you. I'm like, you, first of all, you are saying this now. And I cannot tell you how many times I've realized that the only protection in this world is the actually true real men. Because the other men, they won't surface. They don't come to the surface. They don't pop up. They're not around. And I'll be so for real as well about this. It's not good enough to talk about, and I have had to call the police and stuff, by the way, and stuff like that. I have actually, like how you guys, the things that have happened, right? When things have gotten like past just somebody trying to talk to you or hounding you. It's the time, like I said, because if we don't create a society where men are actually men and men are taught to be men, and these types of men are dealt with by the real men who are actually men, right? Whatever the other men want to do, listen, you're not there. It doesn't matter. It doesn't make a difference if you now try to say, oh, you should have called, you call me if something happens, because we've allowed a society that creates so many of these kinds of guys that exist, and they have such a strong sense of entitlement. Again, that's that whole B energy, you know what I'm saying? That strong sense of entitlement, you know, of like, I am entitled to you. And if I want you, if I'm interested in you, I should be able to have you because I want to. And you're a woman in any way, so I can take advantage. And this is what I'm trying to say about the patriarchy and dropping the ball. Like, society isn't a safe place. There's no such thing. It doesn't matter how well, what dress you are or what time of day. And even that's what was upsetting me when I was watching this Trisha Paytas video, because she said in the video, she made a comment. She's like, I know I'm in shorts. Bearing in mind, she's parked right outside the 7-Eleven. I can literally basically see it in her car. She's just popped out, bought herself whatever she's bought, come back in. And again, why am I as a woman now having to go and think about what outfit I'm going to wear to go and buy myself something to eat, to go and do my groceries, to go and post a package? Why do I have to be sitting here thinking about all of that? Dropping the freaking ball, mate. Because and this is what happens. And the guys, no men, and you hear men these days like, we don't speak up because of this and this and this happens. Okay, you know what? Fine. And then do you know what's going to happen? Because it's become a self-fulfilling prophecy now, where the men make excuses because of what their other experiences that they've had or others have had. Step down. The guys who have no problem with their entitlement step up. Then they offend the women, the very women you want to be with, right? Which causes for us to either become lesbians, let's be real, okay? My life would be a lot easier in that department, to be honest. Or we end up going through some kind of trauma. So now we want to cure our traumas through promiscuous behaviors. Because you know why I think a lot of women are really promiscuous? Because listen, if somebody has violated you, that's the last thing. I remember like when people used to ask me like all the time when I was younger and I didn't understand, you know, about what was and shouldn't have happened in certain events in my life. People would ask me, I would hate the question about like, when did you lose your virginity? Because in my mind, because of what had happened, whatever had happened that had happened was the last thing that happened. I would always say that. It took me till I was an adult to realize that any person who did any of that doesn't factor into my body count. So like, in my mind, I'm like, the thought that that's the last ever experience you had is something you want to get rid of. Right? So then all of these self-fulfilling prophecies now create the very women that you guys don't want, right? Because now, yes, we're dealing with our issues in another type of way by getting under somebody else, by having no sense of self-value. And it makes you feel disgusting. And somebody said this on Trisha's video. It was like one of I think it was the top comment, and it was like had thousands of likes. And somebody said, and this is so true, it's like when you go through these experiences, like the ones I'm telling you about, like when someone's not saying no, they're not leaving me alone, they're not whatever, right? They were like, you know that horrible sick feeling where you feel absolutely disgusting and sad and it ruins the rest of your day. Like, and it's so true. But it's so common. Like even the other day I was sitting, you know, out in the park, whatever. This guy comes up to me. I actually made a video that day. Again, trying to talk to me. Oh, I just want to get to know you. Just give me a number. We can just whatever, right? We didn't do anything wrong, but it just was bothering me, whatever. right? Wasn't taking no for an answer. Was still there. Was taking forever and whatever. And I said, no, thank you. And I got so uncomfortable that I was going to leave. Because again, I can't just go out and sit and whatever. Because now you're just going to be here and you're just going to stay here, or you're just going to walk with me where I'm going. It's not like, it's horrible, right? And you can hear the difference in the voice of men who are proper men and how they approach you, because they speak really nicely. Excuse me, ma'am. Like, can I speak to you? You know, like they don't sound like they've got, because you can hear the slavery to the flesh of these other guys, by the way. You can hear the just disgusting, predatorial, entitled energy. You can see, hear, and feel it. That's why I'm saying I know immediately. As soon as any male approached me in any type of way, I can immediately sense their energy and know what kind of person. That's why guys will be like, how can you already know that you said no? Because, sir, the energy you're giving off. And it's so clear. You in your head think you're just making a nice little thing. Meanwhile, you look like a dog that hasn't eaten for the last 100,000 years. Nah, buddy. You don't even see yourself. But anyway, so yeah. And it turns out anyways, that day, lo and behold, just after that, another guy walks past. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's one of my brother's friends. And so I was like, hey, because I saw him stop and talk to that guy. I was like, you know that guy? He was like, that's my older brother. Not to mention the fact, right? I got a lot to get off my chest. So that was part A. Part B, and these two will be quicker. Number two, this whole, I don't know how, the reason I know for a fact women do not in any way, that the society is still very much run by men, which I think society should be run by, let me watch what I'm going to say here. I do think it should predominantly be run by men. I'll be very real and honest. With a lot of women, obviously, there as well. But the thing that I realized is, I know that it is anyways, because I still have to pay for all the different things I need when I have a period. Like, I still got to buy my things. I got to get my painkillers. I got to do my this. I got to do that. A female-run society, there's no way that would happen, because that's one thing we don't. Like, I can get contraception in this country for free. So I can get contraception. I can get a pass to go out there and be opening my legs to anyone and getting pregnant. But in the event that I'm not getting pregnant and I'm having a period, now I need to go and pay to deal with that situation. That's insane. That is insane. And like, I do want to say this. I understand, like, I feel like from a historical perspective, if I can be so honest, this is what I think has happened. I think throughout history, because of the nature of a lot of things, church does it, the lot of historical characters have done it, where, you know, men are, the patriarchs, they run everything, whatever. And I think a lot of men, unfortunately, historically have abused that power. And now we're in a situation where abuse of that power is normalized in a lot of areas. And honestly, all I'll say about that, I just want to say that, look, take advantage of whatever you want to take advantage of, because listen, the Lord at the end of the day doesn't listen. You got the Lord to answer to. I just want to say that, because that's how I feel like when I see how some people operate. Like, I was having a conversation with somebody the other day about one of the situation with one of these men from African culture, from like not from when I was alive, but like within the last like generation. Yeah. And they were telling me a story of how they had a older cousin who married a man. And what he would do is he would go and buy himself. This is very common in places like this, like in African culture. Like, I'm not going to lie, like a lot of this type of, So he would go and buy himself all this food that he would eat, and eat these extravagant meals and whatnot and what have you. And he would let his family and his wife, his children and his wife would literally eat bread and jam or like marmalade or something. Meanwhile, he's gone and cooked himself these big fat meals. Also, I saw some of that energy being given when I was growing up, and I hated it. You know, one thing I used to hate growing up is when my mum would go to all this lengths to make this lovely dinner for everybody, for just some random other pastor dude to show up, and then they all sit there together, kissing each other's butts, right? And then my mum would give up her food, and she would have toast and tea. Fuming! And can I just say, That's why I don't wear pajamas to this day, because I'm just here in my home, supposed to be at home chilling and being comfortable, and all of a sudden random strange men are showing up at the house, coming and in there while I'm in my pajamas in my home, and my mum's giving up her food, and I'm now feeling uncomfortable sitting on the couch in my pajamas when certain people are around, and we're all just doing the bravado Olympics. Like it's just like I can't. Like, it's these little things. This is what I'm trying to say. These are the experiences, because I try to, I'm really trying to deal with my own internal issues so that I don't, make poor decisions based off of trauma. But it's these kinds of things that when I remember these types of memories, even in my own life, or when I go through the things that I go through, I hear that demon of extreme feminism knocking on my door. I can hear it. I can hear that knock. I can hear that, almost hopelessness, helplessness, and desire to just give in to full hatred of all of men and mankind itself. I can feel it, because yes, you guys are stronger, and yes, you guys do run things, and yes, you guys do have all these incredible things and some advantages. We both have advantages in certain ways. That's why we've started to use the one power we have over you, which is between our legs, because now we realize that, wait, we're asking, we may not get it. By the laws, nothing. But when we bring in the we have to bring in new strategies. I know for a fact that's the easiest way to get anything I want in this world. Do you not think if that would be the easiest way, I would not have to work? That's why I'm like, I don't judge. This is why I really don't judge any woman who's doing anything in 2024. If you ain't got the Lord and you've figured out how to monetize your body to get the things that you want, so be it. You know what I'm saying? I get it. I'm not in favor of it, obviously, I'm obviously not in favor of it. And this is where, again, I love Jesus and how the Lord, and Jesus is just my man of everything, because Jesus's entourage was all women, by the way. The people who were actually funding Jesus's ministry were actually women. I don't know if you guys knew that. There was Herod's assistant. There was Mary Magdalene. There was whoever else. He first appeared to women. All of these things, again, went against the society at the time, where that women were actually genuinely then not seen as valuable. It's funny for me, because the reason I don't fully subscribe to all this feminism stuff is because, I know that I'm probably the best off of all of women of all of history with this type of stuff. Even the fact that I can even speak, I know that my own grandmother, she, for the first chunk of her life when she was married, she was part of the generation where her whole paycheck went into her husband's bank account. So, I definitely don't feel victimized per se in that area, but I just do feel as a whole, in this whole entire world of just being a woman, and how normalized it's been for men to just drop the ball as and when. I'm not even going to start on the black male community and what's going on there, because I can't even go there today, to be honest with you, because I just cannot. No, I can't, where we're making excuses for why we can't be the real men we're supposed to be. You see, I can say all of this because I'm not making excuses as a woman. Listen, I'm going to do my job as a woman. That's why I'm getting myself together. That's why I'm working on the education system, because I'm looking for the kids. How are we going to look after the children? How are we going to protect the kids? How are we going to protect the world? I'm doing everything I need to do in my power to be the best woman, to do what I need to do as a woman. Okay, so I don't need anybody to be saying whatever. Listen, I'm holding myself also accountable. Like I said, guys, all of these issues in the world, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again, it's only going to solve itself if men and women stand up simultaneously. Because if one side starts doing their job and the other side doesn't, there's still the imbalance, because we need both. Both need to be functioning. Both need to be doing their job. So I'm just I really have been just wondering, where are men anymore? Where are men anymore? It was that scenario in the UK where there was those kids killed. Then all of a sudden, all these men are wanting to riot and all of this. I'm like, I ain't seen any of you anywhere ever. I ain't seen any of you anywhere ever. I ain't seen an ounce of testosterone in so long in this country. And now, all of this pent-up anger, because that's what happens. That's what these guys who are the B word kind of guys, or just a lot of men in general, store up energy. That's why I know that a lot of men die from heart things, because you're either storing up energy from trauma and things you're not talking about, or storing up whatever you're storing up because you don't share and you guys, internalize everything. So that's why it doesn't surprise me that a lot of men die from something heart-related. You were storing it all up. How about if you'd used a bit of that, you'd sprinkled a bit of that testosterone every other day, mark your territory a little bit, like the animals and stuff do, not literally like how they do, then maybe the world itself would be different. That's like the whole Donald Trump, Joe Biden situation. Oh, Joe Biden, who was off his legs. You see how the world changed again? It's exactly what I'm telling you about. People start to act differently. Other people start to act differently. Other men, because they're like, oh, another man's in the building now. And exactly what I said, it didn't matter about when whatever anybody else was doing, whatever everybody else was saying, whatever the state of America is, or how big they are, how many guns there are, or how many nuclear weapons you have, or whatever. If there is not a man standing there that is respected, doesn't matter. That's what I'm trying to say. Doesn't matter. I live that life myself every day. I know for a fact that it doesn't matter. And to be honest, this is why I don't actually want to have children anymore. Because I don't feel like they're going to be protected in society. Look at how people acted with all this Diddy stuff. How many people turned blind eyes to all these child stars and this, that, and the other? And again, it took like, I'm like, where were the, first of all, where were the women? But I've talked about that a lot. But where were the other men? This is what I don't understand. So like, this is what I'm saying. Like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, you guys. I'm honestly holding us accountable because we're in this. As I said, the patriarchy dropped the ball. You had all the power and you had what you wanted. You were all these kings and all these emperors and all these whatevers you were. Congratulations. And you all know about all the wars, the Napoleonic Wars, the Roman Empire. And for what? Like I was saying about anime, you all watch all these animes. Oh, Dragon Ball Z. Oh, we love this movie. I watched Rush Hour the other day for the first time. Jackie Chan. Like all these things I hear guys talking about. It was like, oh, the UFC fight card. There's not even a drop of testosterone in your body. Your ball sack looks like raisins. Doesn't know what's going on. It doesn't know. Heck, you might have more progesterone and estrogen flowing through your veins than I do at this point. Bring back big ball energy. Maybe I should title the video, Bring Back Big Ball Energy. I might. Oh my gosh. So you see what I'm saying? And that's why I'm so frustrated because like as a woman, as much as I'm doing everything for the kids, as much as I'm trying to plan everything and do as much as I can, as much as I'm trying to hold myself accountable as a woman and hold my peers accountable, we can't do everything even if I wanted to. Not that I do, because heck, who wants to do everything? I'm saying this as a society. You see what I'm saying? That presence alone, first of all, protects everybody around. Like, and this is what I'm saying. A lot of men these days are just having kids after kid after kid. I'm like, why are you having all these kids when you're not even standing up in society? Seriously, why are you having all these kids? Why are you naming a kid after you like you have some legacy to be proud of, some lineage? That's another thing you need to stop doing. Don't call your don't curse your, well, let's not use the word curse. Don't put on your child's shoulders, right? On your son's shoulders, a name that you yourself haven't even made to be a great one in the first place. Don't. Do not. Bring back vasectomies. Just get the snip. Listen, natural selection. Maybe we don't need you to have a bloodline. Maybe we don't need your legacy, whatever that is, because I don't know why people like to live on. Think about it, because if you're not going to be a part of creating the society that is safe for those children, if you're not going to be a part of growing up those children, like, because I really think that, you know, I do agree this whole the lack of fatherhood thing is an issue, but it's not just absent fathers, like physically absent. It's fathers who are present, but are absent in the other areas of things that they need to provide. It's not just about the money. And I hate this whole notion. It's something that I hear and it niggles at me when I hear people say it like, oh, well, he my dad, when growing up, he was there and he paid for everything and he provided us a beautiful life, but I just felt like we never had a relationship. I think a lot of fathers out there maybe go down, a pay whatever, and maybe just like have some time to spend with your children, with your sons, with your daughters, for goodness sake. Have the time to spend with them, to teach them lessons, to teach them things about life. You know what a lot of men who they need to learn about women from? Other men who figured it out, like who've actually figured it out through practice, through whatever, and give practical lessons. Bring back discipline. I was watching this video the other day, and like how in a lot of countries, all young men have to go to like army training camp for a year. They do this in a lot of countries. And so in this video series, they said they took a bunch of guys, young guys from the UK to do it. And boy, did they struggle. You guys should be so grateful to the Lord that he has not allowed a war to break out, because those of us in the West are freaking screwed at the state right now. The state of society, the state of our health. We're here talking about Ozempic, trying to lose weight, trying to take steroids and all this, that, and the other. Bring back power. Bring back masculinity, for goodness sake. You're even so some of you guys are even mutilating yourself these days. Oh, great. Oh, great. So that's where we're at. I'm telling you, I feel for, if you are one of the men out there who understands what I'm saying and who knows that you're probably frustrated as I am about a lot of this stuff, I want to just say, I want to pray for you guys, and I pray that the Lord would strengthen you. I pray that the Lord would equip you. I pray that the Lord would find you, that he would provide for you, and he would guide you into a greater season and into a greater masculinity awakening in the name of Jesus, because we need that. Like, we really do. And like, I think it's one of those things that I think it's, like when you have certain thoughts, I don't know if other people do this, where like you have a thought that you think about in the back of your mind, but you just leave it in the back of there because it's too painful to think about. This is one of them for me with the whole male community, where it's just like, I know deep in the back of my mind, it doesn't matter whatever happens, we are both needed, whether it's in family, whether it's in society. We both have to stand up, and it's never going to be good enough even if I stand up alone. And there's nothing I can do if the men don't choose to stand up for themselves. There's nothing we can do. And meanwhile, the longer you delay in doing that, the longer you delay in going deeper with the Lord and finding out what you need to do with him, the more power that's being exerted by the wrong kinds of guys out there. The more guys are engaging more in, like I said, because like even as a woman, as a young woman, I believe straight men have become the problem for a lot of women today. Straight men have become the problem. And the truth is, yes, a lot of it is our own issues. As I said, I can see from my own experiences, I know how certain things I've experienced, how they make me feel and what they make me think about doing. And I hear that demon of extreme feminism knocking at my door. And I hear that voice trying to overtake me and to possess me of this pure hatred towards men. I hear it, albeit I shut the door, albeit men are still my favorite of all of God's creations. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, you guys, I'm saying all of this genuinely. From a female perspective, it's got to change. You've had your heydays. You've had all these years of kings, this and this, that and the other. And for what? To be here in 2024. And do you think it's by accident? Let me ask you a question. Do you think it's by accident that Diddy and all these things that they specifically like to target young boys? Oh, it's almost like the devil has a plan to transfer all of these demons to the young men so they can have issues in their masculinity. Almost as if. Go figure. Bring back big ball energy. And on that note, I hope you guys understand with heart from where I'm coming from with this. Like I said, I don't like to try and call out other people, but I'm just saying as a woman, listen, I've accepted probably the most depressing realization I've had about society and humanity and being alive is that, like, no matter what I do as a woman and how many of us stand up, if we don't all stand up together, doesn't matter. And especially when it comes to the kids. Especially when it comes to the kids. Especially. Men and women. You know, people are very quick to talk about the issues with us young women with fatherlessness. We need to talk about the fatherlessness when it comes to the sons. Hello. That's why a lot of these my experiences with men, I've started to realize some stuff now that I've got so much data to be working with. I start to realize some things. Anyways, I hope this has been helpful. If you are a male, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments, even as a woman. Because if life's a game, let's play to win. God bless you all. God loves you. I love you. And I'll see you in my next one.